We are live. Hello, everyone. I'm so pleased you could drop in and join us for Lighten Up with Sunny Wilkinson. I think an appropriate title for the times we're involved in. I cannot wait to introduce my special guest today. We have a long history of love and music and performance, and I've had the privilege of watching her just grow into astounding artistry. But before I introduce Lulu, I have to share with you this new little tradition. And some of you know that I have been an avid ceramicist, hobbyist for the past 7 years, really. So even though I can't interview all of these wonderful potters in my area and in Michigan, I thought each show I could feature someone. So today I am going to feature the remarkable Ned Krause. He is old school, so he doesn't have a website that I can send you to, but I'm going to hold up his remarkable work and you can ooh and ah and wish that you had this piece. This was my 65th birthday present from my husband. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that gorgeous, Lulu? So he lays down maybe 10 layers of clay and then carves through them into this remarkable piece. Ned Krause. I'm going to show you one more of his tiny ones. This is a little smaller. It's not bigger than my head. And hold it up so you can see the carving and the beautiful consummate artistry. Isn't that just gorgeous? I know you wish it were yours, but it's not. Thank you, Ned. Thank you for all of your beautiful contributions. Okay, without further ado, let me put this baby down. I am thrilled and pleased to welcome remarkable singer, songwriter, musician, actress, photographer, artist, Miss Lulu Fall. Hi, Lulu.
Hi.
Hi, sweetheart.
I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness. What a joy to have you here.
Oh my God. Thank you for having me. This is amazing, and I've missed you so much. So much.
Should we tell them about our relationship first and then get on to you?
I think so. I
Okay.
think so.
Do you want to tell us?
Yeah, sure. I went to Michigan State and I was there from 2003 to 2007. And I was in the jazz studies department and I studied with none other than Sunny Wilkinson. And I'm telling you, first of all, you have been like the realest teacher, vocal professor I have ever had. And I thank you so much for that. And we have kept in close contact, throughout the years, especially since, Facebook started like at some point while I was in college and stuff. So social media just makes it easier for us all to keep tabs on each other and check in with each other. And what I love most about our relationship is that you have taught me all the things that you've taught me, I still utilize to this day.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not bullcrapping you. I'm dead serious. You instilled just so much confidence and esteem and groundedness in me. And I know that I was fundamentally missing those things when I got to Michigan State. And to this day, I still suffer a bit from performance anxiety. It used to be stage fright, but now it just throughout the years it just morphs into these different things. And I think that that's just it's just a sign that I need to continue to hone in on those imperfections and those blemishes because that's what makes me who I am, you know?
But don't you also think, I mean, that performance anxiety, or what did you call it? The, it's part of what makes you a great artist. You're empathic and sensitive and you pull the world in and you let the world view you in a very intimate way. You don't pull any punches, man. You let them have the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And with that, I think you we have to learn how to protect ourselves in a way. Do you know what I mean? Or take care of ourselves so that that can be the positive expression of that.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. Yeah. When you're on stage, you're being transparent. Whether you expect to or intend to or not, you are being transparent. You are sharing your energy. You are sharing your innermost secrets and desires and journal entries, And again, as an empath, you are receiving all of these energies too. So I agree with you that while it's beautiful to have this transference of energy and be grounded and be able to completely let go and let the universe just move through you. I also personally find that when I get off stage, when I get back home, sometimes I just cry for like an hour or two.
Yeah.
Other times I'm just wired. Most of the time, I'm just really wired and I have all this energy. The one thing that calms me and just kind of brings me back down to me is I journal. I
Oh,
just
I
I
love that.
have to get it all out. Otherwise, I will stay up. you know?
Well, I was going to ask you if you had any tips for our younger sisters and brothers that are out there starting the journey of performing and writing,
Mm.
and you just offered the journaling. That's great. Is there anything else that helped you sort of not conquer but deal with stage anxiety and stage fright?
Well, one is consistency. If you don't perform often, if you don't flex that muscle often, then you're kind of going to go back to zero or go back to square one every single time you perform. And that was something that, especially after I graduated from Michigan State, I was trying to figure out, find my way because I had this background in theater, but I also had this background in this bachelor's in music. And so I was thinking, okay, how do I do both? And I found that because of my performance anxiety, I found that I would try to skirt around certain performance opportunities. And that just kept me farther from my goal of being able to let go and, truly find myself and be grounded while on stage. So, all that to say, consistency is the first thing. Secondly, knowing who you are and having a sense of pride and comfort in knowing exactly who you are. That's one of the things that I always come back to anytime I get a little nervous, especially I'm performing at the at the jazz festival this weekend. So I'm excited and all of these like thoughts and feelings and anxious jitters are running through my body. But one other thing that just keeps me grounded and focused is I ask myself, who are you? As an artist. You know who you are, and only you can answer that question, but that's just one of the many grounding techniques that I implement and instill. It's just asking myself who I am. Uh, what is it about this performance that's important? What is it about my delivery and my necessity to perform this piece that's important? So consistency, knowing who you are, journaling, all those things kind of help you begin the path of knowing who you are, staying true to yourself, and being grounded while doing so. It's not always easy, but it's great. And of course, have fun. Have fun.
Have fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
In
fun,
the
fun.
end, have fun.
Yeah.
I love all those things when you said frequency, right? I mean, I've
Mhm.
been doing this my whole life. I'm 2 years away from being 70. I'm getting turning
No,
into
you're
an
not.
old. I know.
Wow.
So I'm not performing as much as I used to, and I noticed that. It's like,
Mhm.
wow, how can you be nervous being on stage? It's like going into your home. So that
Yeah.
I think that's so true. And one thing that I have always done, and perhaps it's because I'm a Methodist minister's kid,
Mm.
and that is sort of a part of my deep rootedness,
Mhm.
is the idea of congregation. At the end of most concerts that I do, I tend to go out and shake everybody's hands because, that's what Methodist ministers' kids do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I always like to picture the people in my audience as mine, like I'm enveloping them and they're enveloping me, and
Mhm.
I'm really inviting them into my living room, and I'm inviting them to put their feet up on my couch and I'm serving them my best food. And then it feels more intimate to me, like I feel safer.
Absolutely.
And I also feel it's kind of real, that idea too, that you're reaching out, and that's part of our job,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, I
I love
really, really
that.
like that. I love that visual because all too often you think, I'm nervous. Oh my God, there are all these people out here. They don't know me. I don't know them. As opposed to bridging that gap. They know you because they purchased the tickets to hear you perform and hear you do your thing. So let that be the bridge, that gap. Yeah,
Yes.
the bridge that ties everything together, if that
They
makes
already want, they want to love you. They
sense.
already do, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then that other thing about stage, that the energy, I think sometimes we misunderstand that energy that's going through us. I mean, we're building into performance, right? It's like,
yeah.
it's huge. And there's no place for it to go until you get out on stage, and then you can focus it like a shot, right?
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
so instead of labeling it as fear or anxiousness, it's like you're anticipating getting out there, man. It's like, oh, it's building.
Yeah, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
another thing that you taught me, because I know that I struggled with being able to focus my nervousness. And nerves are they're real. They're an indication of, you really, really loving deeply what it is that you do. Also, it's part of the human condition. So many people tend to focus on not wanting to be nervous, and that's almost like counterproductive, because we're not robots. We're going to be nervous. We're going to have feelings. It's just, how are you going to channel that energy? Are you going to let it completely cripple you, or are you going to channel it into like tunnel vision and light and energy and just go at it when you're on stage? And that's something that you taught me. So thank you.
Wow, what I have to go back to something here,
Yeah.
because this is a quote. You have got some great critic quotes, some of the best I've ever seen, and this is one of my favorites. Lulu Fall is simply, excuse me, let me say that again. Lulu Fall is simply breathtaking. I spent a few hours marveling in her vibrant vocal abilities, and am still a little shell-shocked. Better yet, overcome with endorphins, because her voice is just that damn good.
Who said that?
It's on your website.
Oh,
It's like, yeah, baby.
wow.
I
That's
want somebody to say that about me. That is just
uh,
fabulous.
wow.
But it's true.
Ugh,
It's true.
thank you. Oh, yes. Yeah, I always, I try to update my website, with every uh, few things that I receive, whether it's interviews or a review on an album or something, and I'll read it once and then I'll never read it again, and I
Yeah.
just put it on my website. I'm like, here's the news, go read that. You know, um, that
Oh,
makes me really, really happy. It took me a long time to find my musical voice. I've always been very artistic through and through, so it's just been coursing through my veins since I was a kid, between dancing and trying my hand at sculpting and writing poetry and, of course, singing and acting. Just all of these things have been coursing through me. And for so long, I just kept them all separate. Also, for so long, for some reason, I just thought that I was supposed to sound a certain way. I was supposed to be a certain way. And I have no idea where those parameters came from. But I know I keep saying this, but when you let go,
oh,
that's when you find yourself. And it took me a long time to let go, and I needed those particular struggles and hurdles in college, because one, it shaped me to be exactly who I am as an artist, but two, it makes letting go that much better and almost easier, because when you're holding on tight, you kind of present all of these obstacles, as opposed to just letting go and saying, this is who I am. And over the years, I'm just going to keep my ears open, my eyes open. I'm going to learn. I'm going to take everything that I need to take from all these entities and pieces of music and, whatever inspires you. And this is me. This is my package. I don't know if
Oh,
that makes any
I
sense.
just love that.
Thank you.
I love that. It's my sister is reading a lot of Buddhist stuff,
Hmm.
and she says rather than being putting yourself, what did you say? It wasn't putting yourself in a box, but it was
Parameters.
parameters, and you said just let go. She said
Yeah.
just get in the river, just let it flow.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
in the river.
And it's not easy, but again, if you, I guess my word for this, my main word for this interview would be consistency. If you just remain consistent, no matter what, you will learn to go with the flow. You will learn to let go. You will find yourself. You will find your voice in whatever artistic medium you choose. And that's my mantra. That's something that I am constantly reminding myself to do, because it's so easy to clam up, get nervous, and then,
Get tight.
yeah, get tight and then kind of start to lose yourself. And I've been there before. Doesn't feel good, and
No,
nothing good comes from that, but more anxiety.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's interesting being an older performer and singer. I think I went through some of those head trips about, Sonny, you have nothing relevant to say. Stop,
Really.
because look at all these beautiful, great artists that are young and coming. They outsing you, they're beautiful. And I said, you know what? Stop that.
Mm-hmm.
But, life on this little planet is short,
Yeah,
and enjoy the time you have. And,
absolutely.
and now I have these beautiful opportunities to play with my extraordinarily talented pianist of a husband, Ron Newman. And every time we make music, I just say, okay, we're just going to be a conduit for some joy and healing, and we're going to have fun.
Absolutely. And I love that. And everyone has something to say in their own way.
Yeah.
Uh, just because there's an emergence of younger artists, or, amazing sculptors, or pottery artists, that doesn't mean that you therefore are unimportant or irrelevant. Everyone has something to say. I love that. I've
I
been
made
looking
it.
at that. You
I
did?
made it.
Oh, wow.
I'll send you one.
Oh my God, yes, please. Oh, I love big mugs and drinking my tea and stuff. But yeah, it's like there is room for everyone to shine. Everyone to shine. And everyone shines so in a very different and unique way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are relevant, please.
Thank you, my dear. All right, so I need to go back here and you mentioned that you're going to be playing on the Detroit Jazz Fest. And I think everybody needs to know when you're playing Friday, September 4th at
Mhm.
8:15 to 9:20 at the Absopure stage. It's all viral.
Uh-huh.
And can you tell them how to get onto the site?
Right. So there is an app that the Detroit Jazz Festival has, their official app. I believe it's called DJF Live. If you go to their website, I don't have it at the top of my head. I think it's detroitjazzfest.org or .com. I'm not sure. My apologies.
Okay.
Um, you go to the website, you scroll down, you will see information on the app, and you can download the app. And I believe that there is a fee per performer. You pay the fee, I believe it's $20, and you get to see us perform live. Otherwise, it will stream at a later time. I don't have all of those pieces of information yet, but yeah, it's going to be all virtual. We're going to be performing. It's technically the Absopure stage, but because everything has shifted, because 2020 is a hot mess, we're going to be at North 42 degrees North Lounge. I've
Yes.
never been in there. I've never heard of it. But yeah, that is going to represent the Absopure stage, and it's going to be fantastic. And I'm so excited. Oh,
I am too. I'm excited too.
Oh
Well,
man, thank
congratulations. That's wonderful.
you. Thank you.
That's
Thank
just
you.
great.
Thank you so much, Sunny.
So I have so many things I want to ask you about, and I can't wait to play a few pieces of your music. Let's talk about your folks and about your, is it your dad or mom who's from Senegal?
My dad is from Senegal. My mom is from Cameroon.
Now, how, okay, so what I know about Africa is here's the west coast of Africa,
Yes.
Senegal's up here, and Cameroon's down here.
Yep.
How did they meet?
They met in Paris at a party. You can't make this stuff up, but that happened. Yep. They met at my mom's sister's party. My mom's sister was having a birthday party for her son, and my dad was driving down the street. My aunt was at the bus stop and had all these bags, and he offered to help her with her bags and take her to her destination. And, walked up the steps, helped her unload the stuff, and she said, "Hey, you should come to my son's party if you want." And so he was like, "Sure." And he got there and he saw my mom and they just hit it off.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's
It's
kind of
an
a,
act of kindness.
yeah. I thought that was so sweet and romantic and different and ew, because it's my parents.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they eventually came to the States. I don't remember the dates, but all in all, my parents have been overseas for about 40 plus years. Yeah. And they recently moved.
Are they in, where are they now?
They, last month, mid July, they fully retired and moved to Senegal. So
Oh,
it's beautiful, but I'm not going to lie, that is something that is hard and rips me apart from time to time because they've always talked about it, much like lots of American families say, "Oh, hey, when we retire, we're moving to Florida and we're just gonna hang out." My parents always wanted to retire back home and be near their families and build a nice big house and they mentioned that for years and years. And we were like, yeah, whatever. You're moving to Africa one day. Well, at the end of 2019, my parents sat us down and said, "Hey, we just put the house on the market." We were like, "Oh, you're serious?" "Oh, okay." And then it think I don't know. Thank God for everything happening the way it did, because right before the pandemic hit, they sold the house, and then they took their sweet time and they moved in July. So I'm really happy for them. I'm proud of them for sticking to their goals and their intentions, since the 70s.
wow.
I'm happy
Now,
for
were
them.
you raised partially in Cameroon or Senegal, or have you, is that's a part of your experience?
I
Sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's it's part of my ancestry. My sisters and I were born and raised in DC. So we are first generation African American, which, oh my God, perfect segue, which is what Between Two Worlds is about. It's yeah. Look at that. So it's exciting and a little, I guess I'm going to be honest. Being first generation African American is beautiful because you know exactly where you come from. And I'm so connected to Africa. I mean, I've been there several times, but also, my parents are from there. I am from there. And it feels good to have that Africanness in you and also have this American representation because I was born here. The hard part is being feeling like you're between two cultures and you don't quite belong. I struggled with, you know, individuality and identity for a long time. And I honestly didn't realize that until I started working on Between Two Worlds.
Wow.
Yeah, I
What a
didn't.
revelation. Well,
Mhm.
I'm going to play that for them right now. And
Okay.
before we probably won't play the whole track. Our
Hmm.
time is short, but it's going to entice them to go to your website. There's a remarkable video of this cut as well. And I have to ask you, did you film that on the Salt Flats near Salt Lake City?
Yeah.
I
I took
thought
full
so.
advantage of the fact that Chris, my fiance and my writing partner, was out there for 4 years, and he met Matt Lima, who is an amazing saxophonist, but he's also a videographer, cinematographer. And I said, hey, I want to shoot this video. I'm picturing like this vast expanse of land, but I have no idea where it is. And he said, oh, look up the Salt Flats. And I said, oh my God, this exists. And we shot there.
It was an amazingly powerful video, Lulu.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right, let's listen to Between Two Worlds.
Don't push me, I'm on the edge. I'm sick and tired of the voices in my head. Don't tempt me, I'm not scared. I won't accept being compared to the rest. My mama taught me express yourself, but she ain't never say I be pleased for it. My papa taught me better than them, but I can speak those words. I'm African. The way I talked, it was funny to them. They teased and taunted, said I was an American. Look in my hair, my clothes ugly to them. Blood wells inside, but I tried to pretend. Pretend I do not care, I don't listen. Deep down inside, I hurt so much, I beg, I plead to God, make this shit end. I'm in between two worlds. I'm African.
I really hate to stop that.
Oh
It's,
God, every time I hear that song, I'm like, I can't believe that we wrote this stuff.
it's so deep. It's
Uh,
so truthful. Talk about finding your voice. Oh my goodness.
yeah, yeah. And I I'm not a masochist or anything, but I find joy in finding those uncomfortable moments in my personal life and sharing them with people because I know I'm not the only person that struggled with confidence. I'm not the only person that struggled with, you know, identity and being okay with who I am. And again, none of these things were in the forefront. Well, confidence and self-esteem, that's something that I was well aware of, but just like the quest for identity and individuality, none of those things were in the forefront. They just lied dormant in my subconscious and my unconscious even until I started working on this album. And I said, I want to do a concept album. I'd never done it before. And every time I tell people that, oh yeah, I'm first generation African American, my parents are from Africa, they always say, oh my God, it just feels amazing to know where you come from, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, don't you know where you're from? And I didn't realize that, African Americans, Black people, uh, generally speaking, don't know where they're from because of slavery and all that nasty mess that American history is deeply rooted in. But I know exactly where I come from. I can point to the map and say, oh yeah, all of my family are from here and there.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that that's something that that isn't normal, I guess, by American standards. And of course, on top of that, I knew that I just wanted to create an album that just kind of talked about these extreme ways in which I viewed myself because I was between these two cultures. And in one sense, it's beautiful. And in another sense, it kind of rears its head in a weird way. And then that's when things started to get uncomfortable. And the more I wrote, the more I would cry, the more I would step back and say, oh, maybe I don't want to write this anymore. But then I just kept going
Wow.
because you have to, just have to. And there's so much healing power and energy in writing this stuff and recording this stuff and having my fiance and all of my amazing band of brothers and sisters recording this music together and just transferring all this energy and putting this energy into this entity together. There's so much power in that. And I like that I can hopefully take part in healing others through this music. And again, having those uncomfortable conversations and creating that awareness and creating that safe space to truly, truly be able to talk about these taboo things that people don't want to talk about, especially in the Black community.
Especially now.
Oh, God, especially now.
Especially now.
Yeah.
I can see some of these tunes on your record as being anthems for the Black Lives Matter movement.
Oh,
Right?
that would be amazing.
They're powerful. They're really powerful.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sonny. And that means so much coming from you, because I know that I keep going back to college, but I mean, that's where we met, and that's where I started to find myself, and you helped me, you guided me, and we trusted each other in that process. And you have always been an advocate about knowing who you are, and being true to who you are. And if you're not, that thing is going to show on stage, and you'll hear it in the music. You'll see it, you'll feel it, if you're not true to yourself. And if you are true to yourself, you'll feel that too.
I think it's a common thread too amongst artistic types to, try and find your own voice and who are you and where are you in the music. And that if you do just get into the flow and you let go, you are going to find that, right? And it's such an interesting journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
Journey. Oh, I have to tell you, your
Yes.
drummer on this record just knocks me out.
Nate Wynn he's crazy. I don't know
Win.
how else to describe it. He is fantastic. He's
Whew.
transcendent. He's something else. And again, in your mind, you have an idea of how a song's going to go, and you're like, I have some ideas. Here's some reference material for you and for you. And then when you go into the studio, when you rehearse, when you start to lay everything down and you start to hear the layers pile on each other one by one, it exceeds your expectations. And that's my favorite part. And then you start crying.
Oh, yeah. And also, I have to say, there's a little bit of old home week for me because Chris Johnson, your fiance, who got his undergraduate and graduate degrees at Michigan State and has just gone and taken the world by storm. And then Marcus Elliott's playing sax, right?
Yes.
I mean, he was such a talented young musician, and he's just probably grown into himself exponentially.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And then Vince Chandler, one of my favorite trombonists and human beings, he's on the record too, right?
Sure is. Yep. And that was his first time, playing with the Chris Johnson group. So it was really excited to have his energy in the studio. And he was like, yeah, this music is great. I was like, thank you, Mr. Chandler. I mean, Vincent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's such a nice man, though, isn't he? He's a lovely guy.
Yeah, and extremely talented.
Oh, boy. Yeah, absolutely. Since we're here, I'm going to wander back and forth because before we have a special guest bop in, we have to talk a little bit about a number of things. Your music theater career.
Yeah.
May I just mention some of the shows that you've been in?
Oh, please.
Okay, so let's see. Passing Strange, Hair. I love you say both the first national tour and Broadway, and I just want to say it was not the first, because the first was when I was in college, lady.
True. You're right. That was long before my time.
You were in the Great Comet of 1812. You were in, now you've got to, I mean, I'm sure everyone asked this, but a little bit about Pretty Filthy.
Oh.
Is that fun?
Oh, it was fun. It was great. I didn't know what I was getting into, but there's this company, this band of creatives called the Civilians, that are based in New York, and they do investigative theater. And for a long time, I thought, I understand what those two words are separately, but together, I don't quite understand what that means. And it turns out that they take, again, very taboo subjects, and they not only put together a play or a musical or something of the sort. They don't just do that. What they do is they interview the people. So in this case, Pretty Filthy is about the porn industry. They interviewed porn stars, and these are real people. They interviewed real porn stars. They interviewed producers. They interviewed directors. They interviewed cameramen, and people who hold the grips and all that stuff. Just literally interviewing all of the people that contribute to making a porno. And there are all these interviews that they had. And so Pretty Filthy is made up of real life interviews and real life words that came from these people's mouths. And it's really interesting. Very, very interesting. Talk about just yanking yourself out of your comfort zone.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. And of course, everything was tasteful, and nothing was, this was, not anything that tipped over into
Obscenity.
inappropriateness or obscenity. Not at all. If anything, it just uncovered what really, really goes on in the porn industry. And of course, I didn't know anything about that, so
What
yeah.
an experience.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite show, either that you've been in or just one that you love?
Well, I will say I love Passing Strange, the original Broadway production of it. The one that I did was an adaptation of it in Washington, D.C. But that show, first of all, it's written by Stu and Heidi, a Black man and a white woman, and just the music that was born out of this is so raw. It's uncomfortable, it's beautiful, it's hurtful, it's sexy, it's sensual, it's everything. It's literally everything. And when I saw that, I didn't see it live. I saw it on Hulu, because Spike Lee did a broadcast of it on Hulu. And also I had seen the DVD several times, because that was reference material when we did the adaptation in DC. But talk about a piece that is about finding who you are and going through all these uncomfortable twists and turns in life to emerge as a new person.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, that's what Passing Strange is about. And it's just so amazing. I don't even know how else to describe it. Yeah, so that's definitely one of my favorite musicals. As far as one that I have been in that's a favorite of mine, I did Hadestown, which is, I was going to say it is on Broadway, but Broadway's closed right now, but oops. I did Hadestown off Broadway, and I'm proud to say that I originated one of the roles. And
Fabulous.
that's another piece that is just raw and real. And as you can probably tell, just kind of reading off some of the musicals that I've done, I do a lot of non-traditional stuff. I'm not built to sing traditional musical theater, and that's totally fine. And that goes hand in hand with, again, how I view myself as an artist. It's different, it's quirky, it's fun, it's off the beaten path, it's uncomfortable, it's all those things. And Hadestown was definitely something that was right up my alley. And it's loosely based off of what is it, Orpheus and Eurydice, and Hades, and I forget the other lady, but and Persephone. Yeah, so it's kind of loosely based off of Greek mythology, and it's fantastic.
I can't wait to see it.
Oh, I know.
And honestly, don't you think the best parts are the quirky, off-the-wall ones anyway?
Yes.
Who wants to play an ingenue? They're boring.
I don't want to. Plus, I'm too old.
You will. That is impossible for you to say that.
Oh man,
So
it's
one of my favorite things sharing with you was the fact that you were a finalist for the Sarah Vaughan International Voice Competition at the same time that Emma Abukazim, who is
yeah.
also going to be singing at the Detroit Festival,
Oh my God, amazing.
right? Do you know each other now in person since you're both in Detroit?
We met in New Jersey when we were finalists, and
Yeah.
of course that's when we uncovered that. Oh wait, we know Sunny, and I think you even mentioned that to the both of us at some point. We have each other's information, but we since have not kept in touch. But thank you for planting that because I do want to get in touch with her, and from what I remember, I really liked her. We just had like
Yeah.
one like short but intense conversation. I said, I like her.
Well, and she was a freshman in college when she was that finalist. Can you imagine?
No.
Talk about being out of your comfort zone. You should hear her now. She's remarkable. You two would really be simpatico.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. I cannot wait. I'm excited that she's performing at the festival. I
Yeah.
need to look up what time she's performing so that I can check her out on the app.
Yeah. I think it's the Billy Strayhorn project that they're doing. So
Oh,
all this really tricky, tough, beautiful music.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, go girl. Dang.
Well, my dear, I think we should play your next tune.
Okay.
And before we do, let's talk about um, Between Two Worlds.
Okay.
Was that your first project with Chris?
Oh no,
Oh
that's
no,
my second project with Chris.
second project with Chris.
Yeah. Our first project together was our debut collaborative album called The Unpaved Road that was released in 2017. And that definitely has very, very strong elements of jazz. That is definitely way more rooted in jazz, but it has elements of rock and electronic and soul and a little bit of world groove. It's kind of that all encompassing thing that,
That one, is that the record? My notes are a little confusing for me here. Is that the one that Pretty for a Dark Girl is
yeah,
on?
yeah.
Oh, can we talk about that song?
Oh, yeah. Speaking of being uncomfortable,
Wow.
yeah, that song is, I mean, the title says it all. Most of my life I've been told that, oh, you're dark skinned, but you don't you don't look you're pretty for a dark girl. Light skinned girls are more desirable um or my favorite is oh, you're African? You don't look like them. So yeah, I just got I can run the gamut of you know
May I
offense.
read a few of the lyrics to
Mhm.
make everybody just a little more uncomfortable? This is a song that won, it was an American Song Contest winner. And when you go listen to this song, you'll know why. You're so pretty for a black girl, but I only like my girls light. He says I'm pretty for a darky. And then Chris Johnson plays this remarkable, beautiful solo. I want to jump out my skin and be somebody else.
Mm.
And listening to this, the tears were running down my cheeks, Lulu.
Yeah. And what's really funny is that I chatted with my mom prior to writing the song and I said, Mom, I want to talk about colorism because it's something that people don't really talk about all the time. And especially in the Black community, there's this unspoken divide. There's this unspoken clash between team light skinned and team dark skinned, or oh yeah, only date, it's fine to have preferences. When you think about why, where these preferences come from, where they're born from, that is the conversation that we need to have. It stems from slavery, the field Negro versus the house Negro. The house Negro had more privileges because they were light skinned, and the slave owners wanted the house slaves to maintain their fair skin, and so they stayed indoors and had more privileges and had, better clothing. And of course, they had the quote unquote privilege of getting ravaged by the master.
Right.
And I'm just being completely honest here because this is what we need. We need to have these conversations. We need to have understanding in order to move forward instead of pushing things away and pretending like they don't exist when they do. And then, of course, you have the field Negro, the field slave, who is dark skinned and who is seen as ugly and undesirable and low. You're a low life if you're dark skinned and you're working out in the fields. And then as history progressed, as time moved on, Black people, understandably so, wanted nothing to do with the stigma that dark skin brought with it. The darker you are, the closer you were to being impure, the closer you were to having ancestors that were slaves or who knows what. And the lighter you are, the more desirable you are because you, again, had the privilege of being forced to have sex with the slave master. And that's more desirable, that's more lovely, that's more pure. And so before you know it, there's this divide between dark-skinned people and light-skinned people. And that's why I needed to write this song, because I was directly influenced and hurt by this taboo subject called colorism, being told that I'm ugly because I'm dark or I'm really Black or I'm too Black. And then as I get older, being told, oh, I usually find light skin girls way more cute and more desirable, and I want to get with them. But you're kind of an exception. You're kind of cute for a Black girl. Oh man, what do you do with these backhanded compliments? What do you do with it? You sit with it, you cry, you get angry, you lash out. That doesn't help because that just makes them call you names more. And so you journal and you write and you have these uncomfortable conversations, and you try to teach people. I don't know.
Well, just you pointing it out is a big teaching moment.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to see racism within the Black community, I'm sure. Racism within
Absolutely.
the ranks, if you will.
Absolutely. And
The other one is hard enough as it is.
yeah. And it's all disgusting because it's born from the same place and it's designed to keep us as a Black community, to keep us fighting and keep us away from each other and keep us from being a true community,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that song's about. But it's my personal
Just
story.
a light, pithy little song.
Just a cute little number.
So, have any other organization or has any else taken that up as sort of an anthem, which I could really see?
Chris and I had talked about sending Pretty for a Dark Girl to certain companies and corporations. We just haven't heard anything back.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe it's only a matter of time because every time a group of people hears this song, they have the exact same visceral reaction. Hopefully I'm not misquoting here, but I did get an Instagram direct message from a young woman. She's somewhere, I believe she was in South Africa, but I cannot fully recall. She was going to be performing, I think, at their graduation, and she asked if she can perform Pretty for a Dark Girl because it's something that she relates to and that a lot of her friends relate to, and there's beauty in that song because of the fact that it's so in your face, so poignant, and it's it's full of personal stories. And I just cried and I was like, yes. She sent me a recording. I don't think she ever sent me one, but it just all the way across like continents, there's someone who was who was touched by this particular song so much so that they contacted me and asked for my permission to cover the song at the graduation. I
Wow,
have never felt that before.
that's
I've never,
fantastic, Lulu.
yeah, and that's exactly why I stay true to myself and why I write the type of music that I write, because that right there just showed me that music, artistry has healing power.
Hallelujah. Preach, sister.
Listen, it's
And
true.
also, even having discussions like this, I'm a white woman, I'm a white older woman, you're a black young woman. And by just all of that we're doing, all that you're talking about today, peeling the layers off of the blindness. Because when you're prejudiced, you don't see it because you say, what? What's wrong? I see everything perfectly fine. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
And it has to be, you have to be made aware through someone else, through a song like that,
Mhm.
or through your own introspection to become less blind, right? We all do. All of us, we all do.
Yeah, for various reasons. We all have our blinders on, whether it's because we are complying or, we are implicitly biased or racist, or because we just want to survive, And that's where I am right now. And it just hurts having these blinders on and, turning on to the news and seeing that yet another Black person got shot by the hands of police. Police, and these are people that are supposed to protect and serve all of the communities in this country. And I'm so fed up and I'm so angered and I'm so scared that I have to put these protective blinders on. Otherwise, I will completely fall apart. And this year alone just has had layers and layers of death and heartbreak and tumult,
Truly, Lulu, I cannot imagine. I mean, none of us, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
So sorry. And I have to say, my beautiful son is a police officer,
Oh,
right? He is. So I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater on either side, right? You know what I mean? It's like there are great cops out there. I mean, it's just there just needs to be a huge change.
oh
And
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And again, I know I keep saying this, but conversations, true, real, deep, uncomfortable conversations need to be had. And
yeah,
that's just one part of the huge problem is there's no accountability, there's no awareness, there's no understanding, there's no, oh, let me be quiet and listen to you. And then let let you say what you need to say and I be quiet so that we can truly listen, hear, begin to understand, clash or whatever, but then grow from it and move forward from it. There's none of that happening.
get some real communication
Yeah,
happen,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Whew, this is deep. Jeez.
Can we play your second song now so I can blow my nose?
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing these really important things.
of course. Thank you for giving me the platform to do so.
Before I play this next song, I have to tell you Lulu's full name. It is like a song in and of itself, and I'm going to say it. You tell me if I mispronounce it, but I do say it a lot because it's like a song. Ludgard Ndata Fal.
Yes. Come on, Sonny. Yeah.
Ludgard Ndata Fal.
Yeah, that
That's
is
a song.
yeah. That is a percussive rhythmic name for you.
Here we go. This is.
Funidem, funidem, mama, funidem, funidem, papa, 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 funidem, funidem, mama, funidem, Funny them papa, funny them, funny them mama, funny them, funny them papa, funny them, funny them mama, funny them, funny them papa, funny them, funny them mama, funny them, funny them papa, funny them, funny them mama, funny them, funny them papa, funny them, funny them mama, funny them, funny them papa, funny them, funny them mama, funny them, funny them papa, funny them, funny them mama, funny them, funny them papa, funny them, funny them mama, funny them, funny them papa, funny them,
Oh, what a tribute.
That one gave me some goosebumps too. Ay, ay, ay.
What does that mean, Funyadem?
Funyidem is where are we going?
Oh, like the title of the song. Where are we going?
Yeah, so I spoke in, or excuse me, I sang in Wolof, which is my dad's language. I sang in Douala, which is my mom's language. And I sang in French and I sang in English. Now, I speak French, I speak English. I do not speak Wolof or Douala. I understand a few phrases and words here and there, but yeah, there, the phrase Funyidem was in my head, at the time that I was trying to write this interlude. I knew that I wanted something a cappella. I wanted something just raw and percussive. And at the time, I didn't quite know what it was going to be, but I kept hearing Funyidem, and it's something that I've heard my dad say a lot, but I just didn't know what it was. And I said, Daddy, what's that mean? And he said, oh, that means where are we going? I said, great. And I just took that and ran with it. And I was like, Mommy, how do you say where are we going in your language? Great. And the reason why this song is on the album is because this, and why it's at the end is because it just kind of sums up this identity crisis that I didn't realize that I went through for years. And I didn't know who I was. I wasn't content with who I was. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be liked. I didn't want to be teased for being different or too dark or having parents with accents and all that stuff. And I just didn't know where I was going. I didn't know where I was going. I couldn't see it. And it's the last song because I can see it. I can see where I'm going. I can see who I am, where I am, and why I am. And that's what that song's about.
It's fantastic.
Ugh, thank you.
Are you, my beautiful Lutgarden Datafal? We did not get a visit from Chris, but I want to give a shout out.
Is
he right there?
Oh yeah, he's been waiting.
Oh, well, bring that man on. We got to say hello.
Hey.
Chris.
How's it going?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm so good.
Good.
First of all, I just have to say, when I heard the two of you were together, it blew my mind and just thrilled me to my core. What a great union of spirits and musicians and talent and creativity.
Bless you.
Sonny, it's been 6.5 years and it still blows my mind. Like, how did this happen?
Right.
But it did.
So just for those of you that don't know Chris, I told you, got his undergraduate and master's at Michigan State. Just give you a tiny little bio here. He taught at Ohio State University. He was the head of jazz studies at the University of Utah in Salt Lake City, where, by the way, I don't know if you heard this, Chris, my son, Chris, is getting his PhD in music composition there as we speak.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. Wow, I had no idea.
And I wish you were still there because I call you up and say, hey, Chris, give me a gig. I want to come and hang with my son.
Right. And keep my son.
Dang it. He also played with the Count Basie Band and wrote and arranged for them for how many years, Chris?
Wow, I was with them for like 12, 13 years, something like that. Something.
It's a long time.
Yeah, long time. Yeah, I think 12 years. Right.
Wow.
Pretty crazy.
And now you're working on Hastings Street, the musical, which is about Detroit's Black Bottom and Paradise Valley neighborhoods, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Lulu's actually involved in the project too. We actually recently did a kind of COVID friendly presentation of Black Bottom where we kind of pre recorded five of the songs from the musical and kind of did like a multi framed video performance like everybody's doing right now because coronavirus. And, but yeah, I was commissioned by Plowshares Theater alongside of John Sloan III, who wrote the book and co wrote the music with me. And we were commissioned by Plowshares Theater with support from the Kresge Foundation to write a musical that was influenced by the history of the Paradise Valley and Black Bottom neighborhoods in Detroit, which were historically Black neighborhoods that, you know, really were kind of like the epicenter of culture, of Black culture in the Detroit area. And unfortunately, due to urban renewal, were actually destroyed when the highways were built, and it kind of ran right through those neighborhoods very strategically. But we don't focus on that part. We really just kind of focus on just a centralized story of some of the people that lived in that area, you know, fictionalized characters that lived in that area and what their experiences were like. And we're just celebrating Detroit culture, celebrating music and telling stories about our people. You know?
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
That's great, Chris.
I'll make sure I send you a link because the current 5 songs that we did is actually out that you can watch freely on
Oh, I'd
YouTube.
love to. Is it okay if I share it with people?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So I'll
Okay.
make sure I send it to you.
Did Tiffany Gridiron sing on one of
She
those?
did. She was on one of the 5 songs as well. Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah, it's a family affair for sure.
I love the production you did on her tune. Um,
Oh yeah, from my heart to yours.
My Heart to Yours, From My Heart to Yours. It's beautiful. That
It's funny. I was hounding Tiffany from the time that we were in Lansing at the same time. I won't say at Michigan State because she wasn't technically at Michigan State, but I used to just always just like, I want to write for you, and I didn't even know how to write yet. I didn't know. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, Tiffany, I want to arrange music for you. I just always felt this, and so years and years later, you know, we just happened to both be back in the same area, and I was like, okay, but for real, I want to write for you, and we were able to make it happen. So now we're doing some work together. She was featured in one of my Chris Johnson big band videos that I did recently, an arrangement of Solitude that she sung on. I'm also helping, obviously, you know, produce her upcoming EP, and yeah, it's been a pleasure to just work with so many people that we're just connected to, you know.
isn't that great?
It's something.
I on my big band record, my first jazz trio when I was in college, Charlie Argesinger was the pianist, and he went on and wrote 5 arrangements for my big band record years and years later.
Wow.
I just love that association. I remember when Tiffany was coming in for voice lessons, and she was so thirsty for all this knowledge, and you guys sat down and taught her how to read music and taught her how to play.
Well, I used to teach Tiffany lessons every week. So
Yeah, every week.
she was one of my early students that
Isn't that
would just
great?
sit down and she wanted to learn how to read chord changes, and she was playing third to seventh voice leading and
Oh, my God, that's
you know, getting through all that stuff. Yeah, it was something.
Yeah, she's another one. She's a remarkable talent, like you.
Absolutely.
Hope
She's
she's listening.
I know, I know. I hope she is.
And then I have to just give you another little heads up. Also, Chris is doing this online education series called Office Hours with Chris Johnson.
yeah.
And I watched one and I realized if I did one of those lessons, it would take me 8 years to accomplish it. And I'll keys.
Which lesson did you watch?
I don't know, it was like diminished licks or something. You just go, next key, going, I think I'm going to go ride my bike instead.
One of the things that I found a lot of success with as office hours is my students remark that there's something about being able to pause me and to be able to take the information and pause it and digest it at their own rate that has been really helpful.
Mhm.
And I'm really finding a lot of strength in pre-recorded lessons. I'm actually very soon about to drop a new product for office hours called Progressions You Should Know, which is really kind of breaking down like 1-5-1, 2-5-1, minor 2-5-1, a lot of just different progressions that I think all musicians should be aware of talking about an analysis of them, different examples, scales, chords, and voice leading, and just providing it in a very digestible format for students to work through. And it's a sequential series. So that'll be available actually in the next few weeks.
That's exciting.
And I've been doing them in, just bite-sized chunks because I too am like, oh God, this is so there's just so much beauty and power and there's a lot of focus that comes with being able to ingest information in bite-sized pieces, pause, and then sit at your keyboard and try to truly understand and get the muscle memory down and get the analysis behind what it is that we're doing down.
Right.
And he's always been this fantastic teacher, and it's just grown in the last 6.5 years. I just sit back and I'm like, who is this person?
Oh, bless you.
It's true. I love it.
What a team, a mighty team.
That's right. Power couple all day.
A power couple. Well, when COVID is over, I would love to have you guys come up and
That'd be great.
share some food and hang out and maybe play some music.
Yeah.
Boy, the work on the collaborative work that you're doing and you're playing, Chris, is just beautiful. It's really stunning.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, I am going to have to bid you adieu. So
Okay.
when I say goodbye to the audience, will you lurk and linger just a few more minutes?
Absolutely.
Thank you both for being on. Thank you for all the contributions you're making to the world through your music and by being and sharing the love. I want to let you all know that next time, which is September 14th, I am going to have the Moxie Strings on. And I am excited to have them on doing bluegrass and takes on classical music with violin and contemporary cello, and they're full of energy and wonderful musicians. So I look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Lulu. Thank you, Chris.
Pleasure.
Mwah.